So Love Is Blind reunion just about finished. A couple quick thoughts. One, they spent the first 30 minutes talking about a couple that I don't give a rat's ass about. None of us do. So that could have been about 7 minutes flat. Instead, it was a clean 32. Next, we're jumping ahead to the main event. Clay and AD, the bomb of the century. AD said, "I just didn't want to be Clay's mom." Chopper sang. Oh my Lanta. AD linking up with Matthew after the show, saying he's kind of cute, y'all. Don't get me mad. Kenneth and Brittany, still friends? I don't know. Something going on there. Also, it's hard to confuse 10 minutes with 2 hours and 39 or whatever the hell. How the hell long was that? Come on, Jimbo. And lastly, the hosting. Good night, Irene. See you next season.
Hey you guys, welcome and welcome back to Mom Jeans by NUTCASE. It is yours truly, the NUTCASE Case Nicole, and I am back again with the shenanigans, honey. And we have to talk about this Love Is Blind season 6 reunion, child. I don't know, we might have to go live to really get into the details, because as always, I've tried to film this a few times and it's just too long. It's just so much that I be wanting to talk about and I just don't want to edit for that long. So I'm just gonna touch on a few things that I felt about this reunion, you guys, and I want y'all to get in the comments and let me know what else that you picked up on from this installment. This whole season has been crazy, and I really feel that this reunion was a PR stunt. I feel like it was PR, y'all. I feel like it was PR, and they were trying to cover their tracks and mitigate the guilt that the show had for all of the discrepancies of these cast members and different things that were going on in the show, and that's just how I feel. So be sure to like the video, you guys, subscribe to the channel, get in the comments and let me know what you all think about my commentary and anything that you feel like I may have left out. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, you guys, so I'm gonna just point out a few things that I feel like I like about the season 6 reunion and a few things that I wish that they would have done differently in this particular video, because I've already tried to go through all the details of the reunion and that just doesn't work for me. I even discovered that when I was doing the couples breakdowns. I can't go through and talk about each detail frame by frame of the show because I'll just get into the weeds. And there's definitely things that I wrote down, and if you guys want me to go live and talk about this, let me know, because we can have a whole conversation and I am not opposed to that. I think it will be really fun, but I have to hear it from you guys in order for me to invest time and energy into it. So if you want to go live and talk about it, let me know in the comments that you want to do that and it'd be something that you're interested in, okay? A few things that I liked about the reunion. I liked the fact that they focused on love and the beauty of love and the fact that it's possible, okay? I really feel that all of the stories of all the couples that were on previous seasons, or even with Johnny and Amy coming together on this season, was a really beautiful thing, because I feel like love is something that we don't really pay enough attention to. Love is something that, especially within our society, in Western society, society, I guess I should say, it's not really something that's capitalized on. It's not really something that people focus a lot of their energy on. People don't really vocalize their feelings about love and how important it really is. It's not very polarizing. It is something that's polarizing when it comes to people wanting love, but when it comes to why you should want love and the value of what love brings to your life is not really talked about within our society. And I think it's something that we should talk about more because it is something that's super important. Despite what people may say, despite what people may project, despite what the media may want you to think or believe, love is something that is crucial when it comes to humanity and when it comes to like your sanity. And I don't really have a way to prove this, but it's about human interaction. Like we all crave and desire, for the most part, human interaction. And I just want to make this clear again within this video, like I do in almost every video, that I am not perfect. I'm not always right. And sometimes I make mistakes or I don't have all the details. And I'm not necessarily saying that my word is law or that my opinion is law, but I feel like we try to act like we don't want love when everybody wants love. I want love. A lot of you guys want love. And I think it's something that even when it comes to like men and the way that they may try to have this tough exterior, they want love too. A lot of times it's looked at as if women are the only ones who want love, but I feel like men want love too. And it's a crucial part of our existence. So I like the fact that the show definitely highlighted how beautiful love can be. And it kind of teared me up because I just think that the struggle love is so played out. Like nobody really likes to focus on Johnny and Amy because their relationship is just so beautiful and it's so non-problematic and non-toxic to the point where you have to really put a magnifying glass up to their relationship and nitpick at every little thing that they do to even find one discrepancy within their relationship. So I appreciate you guys, Love is Blind, for highlighting how beautiful love is and the importance that love brings to your life, or the importance that we should place on love, seeing the benefits that it can bring to your life. Now, the second thing that I really like about this Love is Blind season 6 that I've kind of heard through the grapevine about is the fact that they brought receipts and the fact that they asked better questions. Now, I will say that this is basically subjective from what I've heard. As I've told you guys before, I really am not into the reality TV whole thing because it has just been too difficult to keep up with that and my responsibilities and duties in my life. Also with my sanity, because I don't want to lose my mind. I don't really watch a lot of reality TV. So what I heard from a lot of people was that Nick and Vanessa Lachey did a really good job this season of like asking more hard-hitting questions, like really getting to the core of what people wanted to hear and what people wanted to talk about. And I think that they did it, like for me watching, they really did a good job of that. They did a good job of following up, not just asking one question and taking the answer at face value, but following up with maybe another question or asking for more details. I really felt like it was very engaging, and like as soon as somebody would say something, it's like my face would dart to the other person and be like, what are they gonna say? And I would dart over here and be like, oh, what are they gonna say? Oh, 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 oh. Like I was just, okay. I was very much so engaged in the show. So I really feel like they did a good job with that as far as like digging deep to find the information and bringing those receipts, because child, y'all know when I cannot find the words, this forehead, I gotta tap my third eye to get it back working. Because when they brought out the receipts talking about Jeremy and his other fiance, they came out the gate. They came out the gate pulling triggers. They was pulling triggers, and I was just like, ooh, okay. This how this finna go. Okay. And then when they read off the text messages and Nick and Vanessa Lachey were the ones reading off the text messages, and I was just like, girl, I know you lying. I know you lying, bitch. I know you motherfucking lying. Y'all are not about to sit here and read these texts, but they did. And it was so funny. And then the receipts when it comes to the receipts when it comes to Jimmy and Jessica's date, and how he was claiming that it was only 10 minutes, 45 tops, but it turned out to be like 2 hours and some change.
Netflix finally showed us the receipts for something for once. During the Love is Blind reunion, Jess confronted Jimmy about speaking ill of her during interviews, specifically him saying that she walked out 10 minutes into their last date. During the reunion, Jess was saying it was at least an hour and a half, and Jimmy was saying 10 minutes. After a little bit of back and forth, he said, okay, I'll give you at most 45 minutes, but still feels like 10. Netflix came with the receipts. Netflix showed that it was already an hour and 23 minutes into the date when Jimmy suggested that they take a breather and a break. 8 minutes later, they go back into the pods to continue talking. And 50 minutes later is when Jess said, okay, this is feeling pretty forced. Let's just end it here. So that makes it a whopping total of 2 hours and 13 minutes before they ended their date. I get that being in the pods can be a little bit disorienting, but 2 hours and 13 minutes versus 10 minutes? I have more thoughts on the reunion coming soon.
Ridiculous. It was ridiculous. I love that. I love that because there's so many reunion shows, and this is my reference. I just feel like there's so many reunion shows that do not do that. And this is my reference, you guys. I have a reference of mostly Real Housewives. Okay. I remember Basketball Wives and also Love and Hip Hop. That is my reality TV show limit. Okay. And I could not continue to watch reality TV, but those are my reference points for reunion shows like this. They always included a lot of like flashbacks and a lot of receipts and information that would either confirm or deny the claims that were being made during the reunion. So I thought that was just really like good to do because it boosts the credibility of the reunion. Like it boosts the credibility of the show overall. And it definitely gives us the drama that we are looking for when we watch a show like this. Okay. I also like the fact that they focused on Amy and Johnny's relationship throughout the show. I will say, because a lot of people tune out when you talk about Amy and Johnny because they are so non-problematic. I believe that them focusing on them throughout the show at different points, it was a really smooth and creative touch so that there wouldn't be like just one segment with them and they just had to kind of like sit there for the rest of the show, and it kind of made them a little bit more relevant. I just feel like people don't like healthy relationships, and I really want us all to evaluate that within ourselves and like look at the toxicity that we bring into our own lives, because that's why we can't find the people who we really want to find, because we are being toxic. Okay. I think that it was cute. And I also liked at the end of the show when they all did a shot and they said, I'm not above you, I'm not below you, but I'm right here with you. That's really cute. Like, I just think that whole shot thing, that whole whatever you call it, is just really cute. It's like a handshake, a shot shake. That was cute that they incorporated that because it was something that the cast members did on the show that I feel like kind of solidified them having camaraderie with each other. And I just think it was nice. Like, I love wholesome things in moderation, and I love a little bit of toxicity in moderation. And I think that if we all realize that balance is healthy and that, you know, you can't have too much of anything or else it'll become imbalanced. If we all realize that, we'll all have a lot more healthy of lives. Okay, now let's get to the things that I did not like, because it's a lot more easy for me to pick those things out, and I may come up with some more things that I like, but whatever. Let's just get to the things that I had a little bit of an issue with. Number one, I have an issue with the fact that they included all the other couples from the other seasons. Even though, yes, I said it was cute, at the same time, I have not watched all of those other seasons. I do not know who these people are. I do not know these people.
I hate to say it. I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who this man is. I mean, he could be walking down the street. I wouldn't know a thing. Sorry to this man.
So for it to kind of take away from the actual season 6 cast, where we could have used that time to really get into the things that I feel like needed to be dug into, it was a little frustrating because I'm like, okay, it was cute in the beginning, but why are we still here? You get what I'm saying? So it was a little bit too much. I feel like they focused on them a little bit too much, because you could have had a separate show for that. You could have had a separate show the next day or whatever for you to do that with those people, but I don't think it would have necessarily got a whole lot of views, so that's probably why they incorporated there. But bringing that up and highlighting the fact that they didn't have to have all those extra people on the show magnifies what I said in the beginning. You guys, what was Love is Blind season 6 reunion? What was it? What was the intention of the production team for it to be? A PR stunt. That's what it was. For everyone's image of Love is Blind season 6 to be upgraded into something positive and something beautiful. Let's highlight all of these wonderful couples that this show has brought together so that we can mitigate the liability from all of the other BS that has come out online about us. Girl, bye. Child, when it comes to them not vetting properly the cast, when it comes to them choosing people who want to further their careers and further their own endeavors, they wanted to separate themselves from those negative pieces of feedback. So this was definitely a PR stunt. That is the only reason why all those other couples were there, was to showcase what they wanted us to see about Love is Blind. It was to showcase what they wanted everyone to know about Love is Blind and how they wanted Love is Blind to have this upgraded image. This is the image we want to have because we want to separate ourselves as far as possible from the image that everybody sees us as and from everything that's being said online. Because every chance that they got, every chance that Nick and Vanessa Lachey got, they were saying, that's so beautiful because this is what we mean on Love is Blind, and that's great because this is what we want on Love is Blind. It was a fucking PR stunt. And I'm not gonna say I was not entertained. I was definitely entertained, but that's what it is. And we're not gonna sit here and act like that's not what it is. Come on, Nick. Come on, Nikki. That's what it is. And sidebar, I had forgotten where I knew Nick Lachey from. I knew he was married to Jessica Simpson or something like that, or they had a relationship, but I forgot where else I knew him from. And then I remembered. Give me just one night. Una noche. Give me just one night. Una noche. I'll give you the time of your life. The time of your life. With the echo. Oh, yeah. Y'all, when I realized he was from 98 fucking degrees, I was like, oh yeah. I know it's a sidebar, but it was super hilarious to me to make that realization in my mind, but I digress. Another thing that I did not like when it comes to the show was the fact that they were very selective about what they dug into and what they did not dig into. Okay, so they dug a lot into Jeremy. They dug a lot into Sarah Ann and Laura and Jeremy's situation. They dug a lot into Trevor and his situation. Like, they really grilled them, okay? And they actually dug a lot into like AD and Clay and the whole situation with him, with therapy and all that other type of stuff. But they did not dig into Chelsea and Jimmy as much as they did with Jimmy and Jessica. And they definitely did not dig into Kenneth and Brittany because, honey, like, these are valid questions that everybody is asking, because I want to know what he would have said if he was asked about his sexuality. And that's why I said this was a PR stunt. They did not want to do anything that would further implicate them in any way of being associated with anything less than whatever they wanted their image to be. If they would have asked, they couldn't ask Kenneth about his sexuality. They couldn't talk to Chelsea about her emotional manipulation because they would have looked bad. Because you know what Chelsea would have done? They knew Chelsea would have flipped it around and said, well,
why are you asking me this? I feel attacked and
that's what it would have fucking been. But I want to know, because Chelsea, you're emotionally fucking manipulative. Let me stop cussing. Let me calm down, because I just don't like when people deflect. I don't like when people deflect. And they brought up the whole Megan Fox thing, and she was just like, oh, something silly, just something silly that I said, and it just slipped out. No, bitch. You brought it up. You said it. So how could it be something that just slipped out? And you know why I know she's emotionally manipulative too? It's because she keeps things in her little Dora the Explorer backpack. She likes to bring things up. It's very suspicious about how she just has an archive of things and just pulls it out whenever she wants, because she not scared and she's not emotional. When she was talking to Jeremy about how she's seen him twice without Sarah Ann, and it seemed like Sarah Ann and Jeremy were split up, she was real knuck if you buck then. She wasn't emotional and scared to bring up the fact that Sarah Ann had unfollowed all the women but stayed following all the men. She was very buck then. She was very confident then. So I don't understand why she can't say with her chest why she sat up there and emotionally manipulated Jimmy for the whole season. I don't understand why she can't do that. And I don't understand why they didn't press her about it, because everybody else got pressed. So why can't you press her about it? I feel like possibly it's because she's a white woman. Okay. Possibly it's because they didn't want to have any legal liability for her emotional state, and whatever other reason, I don't know. But I really want to know why she sat up there and played in everybody's face like that and acted like she didn't know what she was doing, because she definitely did. I took it with stride. I took it in stride, and the internet can be cruel and all these other things. And I'm just proud of myself at the way I dealt with it and I handled it. Girl. That's why I said they need to ask more hard-hitting questions, because we still don't even know if Chelsea and Jimmy are like together. Like, what is the status of their relationship?
So I just finished Love is Blind reunion. And does anyone else feel like they completely brushed over Chelsea and Jimmy? Like, as a whole? I feel like they had the most polarizing storyline of the whole season, and they barely talked to them about their relationship and where they stand today. Like, they had the little segment about her talking about him sleeping with his friend, and then her looking like Megan Fox. And that was it. Yet they were fighting all the time. And they didn't even ask them where they've been since the show ended, because we all know they've been together. Overall, I think that the reunion did a great job at asking the questions that we wanted to hear, but I just thought it was very weird that they barely spent any time on them when they were like the huge couple of the season.
Even when it comes to Clay and AD, they asked if AD would, give him another chance. And she basically said,
Next question.
as if we don't see her online still dabbling with this man, which is a whole nother issue. But there was just so many things that I feel like they picked and chose what they wanted to talk about versus what people really wanted to hear about. And for the episode to be that long, which is cool, I enjoyed it. I feel like they should have focused more of that time on actually getting down to brass tacks about what was really going on with these cast members. And I just feel like they didn't ask enough of the hard-hitting questions. It was just too much. It was too much filler, and it was too much fluff, and it was just too much dead air filling space. Okay, whatever you want to call it. I'm not a production expert. And I just have to say, when it comes to Clay and AD, everybody online that I was seeing, not everyone, but a lot of people online were like, oh, Clay has done so much. And even when I did my reviews of all of these couples, I could empathize with Clay and understand how he was abused, because he definitely was abused. But he can't sit there for 1 minute on that couch and get me to believe that he's made any progress in therapy or made any significant changes in his life because of the way that he's been acting online, I guess, and because of the fact that he just was talking in circles. Jeremy and Clay were talking in circles, and they are experienced in narcissistic tactics. Again, I'm not a doctor, lawyer, or psychologist, and I do not assert myself to diagnose these people, but they have narcissistic tactics, and they talk in circles, and they include a lot of extra details when asked a simple question. They never answer it in a simple way. It's always a big long story of how they have to tell you from start to finish what happened, and you already explained that in the first question, so why are you saying it again? That's the part that I just don't like about how they conducted these questions. It's like, hey, certain people you were grilling, but then other people you weren't really grilling like that. Because for me, when it comes to Clay, he was trying to muster up these tears so bad, and I was just not even believing it, not one bit. And it just, for AD to sit there and just be eating it up again, and I'm just like, girl, it just seems that it has come out that you're still like in a situationship with this man, and it's just so sad. It's a sad state of affairs when you have so many women who are brainwashed by BS. It's like, for me, actions speak louder than words. And honestly, I feel like they should have checked Clay a little bit more on that, because I don't know, maybe it was a liability thing again because he's black and he could have cried racism, and he's already online talking about how Netflix portrayed him in a certain way.
You've had implants in your cheeks.
Oh, God.
You've had a dimple made in your chin.
Please,
You've had your lips enlarged.
Oh, please.
You've had your
That's
eyelids reconstructed. Eyelids reconstructed.
It's stupid.
None of
Come
it's
on,
true.
None of it's true. None of it's true. It's BS. They made it up. They lie. They don't want to give me credit for anything.
So maybe they didn't want to say that or do that, but Clay was another one. Like, Jeremy was gauging the audience based on their reactions to what he was saying. And it was like a real time, like you could see in real time how these men were gauging what the audience was reacting to and how they were trying to switch up and change their stories as the audience reacted. And that is a clear sign of someone who's trying to manipulate you, because they're looking at your facial expressions, they're looking at your responses and reactions to figure out how they then need to continue to weave the whatever web that they're weaving. And that's something that I feel like women need to understand, is that sometimes the more stoic and quiet and straight faced that you are, the more information you'll actually get, the clearer picture you'll actually see. So it was just crazy. And I just feel like Brittany and Kenneth just weren't touched on at all, because even Brittany was mad about it, talking about, we finally get our time. Yes, and you still didn't use it wisely, because we wanted to know what was really going on. Okay, I just feel like Brittany and Kenneth, I don't know. Honestly, I'm not trying to presume anyone's sexuality. Like, Kenneth is a grown man and he has the right to do whatever he wants to do with his life, with his love. I want him to find love. Like, I don't think Kenneth is a bad guy, but he deflected from the question as well, talking about being on his phone. He acted like it was okay for him to just, I'm a principal. And I said that in my review of their relationship as well. I get it, because I didn't really chew him out at first when he was on his phone, but it became so excessive that it was like, okay, sir, you were on your phone like you were a teenage boy. I'm gonna need you to stop. I know people have said some things about him online, and I really don't want to, feed into drama and BS, but I do feel like he was not really attracted to Brittany, and he may be attracted to women.
Just finished the Love is Blind reunion, and I am not okay with how they just let Kenneth get off scot-free. All they said was, oh, it seems like you gaslighted your fiance. When the floor should have been given to him to just come out of the closet. Let it be over. Let the church know. Let the school know.
Some people are saying that he maybe wanted Brittany to be blonde or thought she was going to be blonde, or some people are saying that when he saw AD's relationship with Clay, that he was jealous of their relationship and maybe wanted to find a woman that looked like AD. But either way, it's like, it's not even about that. It's just about like living in your truth and being able to be who you truly are. And maybe he is being who he truly is, but the fact that they brought up their conversations now and how they talk all the time, and I'm just like, okay, it just feels like a front for something else. And it brings me back to what I said about them in my commentary, is that he was trying to check off boxes. He felt like at this particular moment in his life, he should be in a position where he has a wife and they maybe have a few kids. And because he's a principal of the school and so actively involved in the church, that's where he feels like he should be. And that's what he feels like he should do. And I don't know. I just feel like they didn't really dig deep enough into that. And they definitely didn't dig deep enough into Chelsea and Jimmy, because Chelsea and Jimmy are supposed to be seen out dating and things like that. And the crazy part that I noticed about Chelsea and Jimmy's little segment is that when Trevor and Chelsea were having a conversation and Trevor was getting grilled about his outside situation, Chelsea was so confident in talking about, how, when Trevor said that he only owed something to Chelsea and that was it, she was just so confident about her conversation. But you see how her face changed when they started to focus on Jessica and Jimmy, okay? Did y'all see how that girl's face changed? It definitely did, because she couldn't handle it. Chelsea was upset. Hold on. Chelsea was upset. She was so uncomfortable, and the camera people, they petty too, because they was zooming in on her face, looking, that lip, girl, I just cannot. Like, my lips don't do that. It's not even this. It's like, she just be like, I don't know, child, but her face was looking crazy when Jessica and Jimmy were talking about things. She just looked so uncomfortable when Jimmy was talking about how beautiful Jessica is. And it's crazy for them to be friends. And I just feel like Jessica needs to watch her back, because if Chelsea's got her Dora the Explorer backpack on and she's keeping an archive of everything that people say and everything that people do and all of everybody's business, she is definitely doing that to you, Jessica. And I'm not trying to be funny, because listen, I'm not a perfect person. Now, I know I have a beautiful face regardless, but I've had body image issues. I've been the chubby girl, all right? So I'm not in any way, shape, or form grilling Chelsea because of her looks, because I've already stated in their review of their couples breakdown that she has beautiful qualities. She has beautiful features. I think Chelsea's eyes are so pretty. Like, she just has these piercing blue eyes, and I think people with all color eyes are beautiful, but her eyes are really pretty. Like, that's one of the features on her that I feel like is super high quality. And for her to sit there and be so upset, it's like you can tell that she still has these insecurities. Sometimes, like, that's basically the reason why I'm kind of like grilling her, is because her motives and her intentions seem impure. And I think Jessica needs to really watch herself. Watch your back, girl, because you never know what type of receipts Chelsea is keeping on you. For her to be looking that uncomfortable when they were having those conversations, you can still see the tension attractively, like the attractive tension between Jimmy and Jessica.
Love is Blind Season 6 reunion aired tonight. If you don't want any spoilers, please scroll away, but come back later and let me know your thoughts. I have a massively unpopular opinion, so please let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Just know I'm aware this is unpopular. But was it just me, Did it seem like there was some sort of nostalgic feelings, maybe even romantic feelings between Jessica and Jimmy tonight? I don't know. Their part was so long, which I wish they would have talked more about Chelsea and Jimmy, but they talked a lot about Jessica. And I feel like the way they were talking to each other, maybe the tension was because of the disrespect on Jimmy's part to Jessica, but I feel like if Chelsea and Jessica were not besties right now, Jessica wasn't a girl's girl, what if they had given their love like a chance? And if he hadn't disrespected her, of course, in that interview. Would that be so crazy? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
And I think because of how everything played out on the show, how he accidentally said her name when they were about to reveal to each other what they looked like, I feel like she's just really still immature. I was about to say immature. Yes, immature and insecure about all of those situations. But she could not handle it when they were talking. But she was so big and bad and bold when she was talking to Trevor and when she was calling out Sarah Ann. So I don't know. I just think that the show could have done better when it comes to equalizing the amount of time that they spent on each couple. And they could have done better with the line of questioning that they gave to each couple. And I just feel like they didn't have to include the other people from the other seasons. Like, it just wasn't necessary. The reactions were good. I feel like the camera work was good when it comes to filming the reactions of people in the audience and filming the reactions of the other couples. Like, even though I feel like they could have like left the other couples out, I do feel like they added an aspect to the show that was positive, not only showcasing love and how beautiful it can be, but also their facial expressions was really good. It was funny, like it added to it. It definitely did. So I'm not saying that they don't have to be there, but I do feel like they didn't have to spend as much time on them as they did, because I really didn't care. Like I didn't care to like look at the baby shower. Like I didn't care to flash back at all of them revealing each other, and I didn't care about any of that. I wanted to get to the nitty gritty of season 6 and the cast that was on season 6. Let's see, is there anything else that I want to add? I think also what was kind of funny when it comes to the additional couples from other seasons being included when we talk about facial expressions is how embarrassed the men looked. Like those guys from the other seasons looked disheveled when it comes to the way these men have come off in their appearance on the show. It's like every time the men were doing something crazy, they looked embarrassed. Because honestly, this show, I will say that it's pointed out a lot of insecurities and discrepancies and just issues with people in general, not just men, but women as well, and all of us as people, which I definitely pointed out in my dating overview. There's just a lot of inauthenticity within us all. And I feel like there's a lot of ways where we just sabotage ourselves when it comes to not being able to find people who we really want to be with. But the men looked so embarrassed when they were hearing the stories of what these guys were doing with Trevor and Jeremy and even Clay. Like they looked embarrassed, and it was just crazy to me to see their facial expressions. What I will say also as well that I found to be very wholesome was the connection between Clay and, was it Brett? Because I didn't watch season 4, but the connection that happened between Brett and Clay when it comes to Clay watching Brett's season and seeing him as a good example of what a husband should be, I think that was a really beautiful moment.
I don't know if y'all watching Love is Blind season 6 reunion, but baby, something is happening in that room. Clay was really tugging at my heartstrings, y'all. And then when he was talking to Brett and Brett was talking, honestly, I'm still watching. I'm not even through the episode before I made this video. But y'all, some of the things that I've been through personally, to watch this video and to see these black men sitting here talking and trying to break these barriers, it is doing something to me. It's doing something to me. Because I always say, like, we teach women how to be wives, but we don't teach these men how to be husbands. We teach them how to provide, we teach them how to protect, but we don't teach them how to love us and how to be there for us. Y'all, ooh. Okay, bye. I gotta go finish.
I don't want to take that away from Clay, but I do feel like Clay was disingenuous. I'm sorry. I feel like he got the internet fooled. Clay got all these white women fooled. This man is disingenuous, and he, in everything that he's saying and doing, it's all a front. It's all a front for his image, because the only time he really got emotional was talking about how he looked on the show, when he was talking about, the way I feel like I was painted as this red flag, and I feel like I was painted as this bad guy. And I'm just like, like, well, because you are. Not saying that AD wasn't ignorant herself for falling for it, but you are a red flag. You are a bad guy. And the only time you really got emotional is not because you didn't see AD for who she is, which she was gullibly falling for right next to him, but it was because you looked bad. That's why you were upset and you were mustering up them crocodile tears. Okay, because he was struggling trying to get a tear out. And I don't know what was going on with that, but I feel like him and his daddy rehearsed what he should have said. I do. I feel like Clay's daddy had a big role in rehearsing with Clay what he should say on this reunion day. Okay. You know, like, and the fact that his dad didn't even apologize, oh my God, it's just so sad. Like, the sad state of affairs of black men, and they don't even be wanting to see it, child. So it's like, you got to decide whether or not you're going to be caught up in the toxicity and the generational curses. And me personally, I'm not about to be caught up in that bullshit. It was very sad that his dad didn't even apologize to him. He didn't take accountability. But the moment that he had with Brett, seeing him as a good example as a husband, that was a really beautiful situation. But you know what was funny about that too is that even though people want to look at Clay as if he's made all these improvements or as if he has hope, which I do feel like there's hope for everybody. I never want to take that away from anybody, that there's not hope to change, because I've made improvements in my life and I've made changes that I'm proud of, and I feel like everybody can make changes. But Brett proved everything that Clay said wrong, because he didn't even realize it. Even though he was giving him props and appreciation, Brett proved everything that Clay was saying wrong, because he said, I didn't come from a great family background. I didn't have a lot of examples, but look at how he's doing. Look at how he's still married and dedicated to his wife. Now, there may be some toxicity on his end because he may be a people pleaser in certain ways, or he may be a person, I don't know this for sure, but it seems like he's very giving and loving. And when you're that type of person, whether you're a male or female, masculine, feminine, however you identify yourself, when you overgive, that can be unhealthy as well. Okay, so that's what I mean. But he proved Clay wrong when he was basically saying that he didn't know what to do either, because Clay was making it seem like, oh, because we don't have these conversations in the black community, I didn't know what to do. No, sir. Stop trying to remove your accountability. There are people who don't know how to do a lot of things, but guess what? They learn. They either go to school or they're self-taught or they do whatever research and training that they have to do to figure out what to do. But instead, you took the coward's way out at your altar wedding day and decided to walk out on the woman that you had promised yourself to. So the fact that you made that excuse, like, we don't have these conversations in the black community. First of all, it's not anybody's responsibility but men to have those conversations with other men, number one. And number two, for you to not hold your father accountable, it's like that. It's either on men to have those conversations with each other, or it's on a father to have that conversation with their son. And if it doesn't happen in any of those ways, it's on the individual. It is your responsibility as an individual, just like it's my responsibility to learn how to be a good mother, not ever being a mother before. Even if I didn't have a good example, my mother passed away when I was 13. I did not have an example of how to be a mother. I had no one to show me how to be a mother other than my mother-in-law, which wasn't the greatest example. But I am still a wonderful mother. I am still a great mother. I'm still an amazing mother because I took it upon myself to not only learn about myself and the ways that I needed to improve in life from the traumas that I'd been through, but I also learned from other people. I took references from other places. I talked to people who were also mothers. I read books. I looked at YouTube videos, like whatever it is that you want to do. If you really want to do it, you're going to do it. And I just feel like there was just a whole lot of talk and nonsense, even though it was a beautiful moment that they shared where two black men could have a conversation. Felt like it was great. But at the same time, I take it with a grain of salt, because Brett literally sat there and proved you wrong in almost every statement that you made about why you couldn't do this, because he himself admitted that he didn't come from a good example either, but that he wasn't a coward. Okay. But I'm going to end it on that note, because I could just keep going in the weeds about this whole situation. I feel like we need to have a live about this just to kiki and talk about all the details. If we go live, I can actually share my detailed notes that I wrote with you guys about this reunion. But it has been so much fun to cover this show. I don't know if I'm going to cover any other shows, you guys, but if you came to this channel with my commentary of this show, I would definitely be interested to hear what other shows you guys want me to cover. I know they have Perfect Match on Netflix as well that they were talking about, and there were other seasons of Love is Blind, and then different topics that came up during this season about relationships and people and different things that we face, you guys be sure to let me know. If there's ever a topic or something that you want me to talk about, send me an email, you guys. I would love to cover the topics that you want to hear about. And I thank you so much for all of you guys who have already contributed topics. We're working on things, guys. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, let me know in the comments anything else that you want to add that I did not add, and let me know if you guys want to go live. But other than that, I will see you guys next time. Bye.
All he's been fucking talking about is his image and how he looks worse than Jimmy. So I don't know why the fuck he came on the show, but it sure as fuck wasn't for a marriage or for fucking love. He's not ready for that.
What do you think Laura meant by saying that Jeremy was worried he'd look as bad as you?
I remember me having a really tough decision. I'm sitting here in the pods, I'm like, for days, hours, it felt like. I remember all the other guys, Ken, everybody else picked me up that day, and Jeremy said, at least I can sleep tonight knowing Jimmy's the villain.
I don't recall saying that, but if I did say that, I was...
Clearly it was on your mind. You're still talking about me and your own relationships and stuff. That's how you viewed me.
No, I understand that. And if I did say that to you, I'm sorry for saying that to you, because it was not meant to be anything serious.